Okay, so let's talk about file type and file size. Let's start with file types. When you work in Photoshop, the native file type is the PSD, which means that if you have a PSD, you have all the layers, all the channels, all the informations that basically let you do whatever you want with the content. And normally, what you do is you save a PSD, and then once the job is done, once the image is done, you just save a JPEG or a TIFF file, depending on the purpose of the final image. The thing is, in ArcViz, we don't save a PSD because PSD has a limit, which is 2 GB. And because we work with XR files, which are HDRIs, which has lots of informations inside, if you start saving a PSD, you will encounter some problems very soon. So what to do instead of saving a PSD? We just go here, File, Save As, and we choose PSB, which is the second format on the list, and these has no limit whatsoever. So it's a nice way to you know um, don't encounter any type of problem, and you can do it at the beginning and then just forget about it. You pick a name, and of course here you want layers because you want to save the layers you have in the file. And the ICC profile is like the ID card of your image. I would say that when you have an image, there is color profile with it, and it's a sort of basically area that said, okay, all your colors in the image belongs to this chart, belongs to this. I would say it sounds like it looks like a volume, but it's not exactly like 3D volume. But anyway, uh, if you save the ICC profile with the file, then someone else can open your file and see exactly the same image. Otherwise, if you forget about saving the ICC profile, then the file as your PSB, your TIFF, whatever, is basically without ID card. And if someone else opens it, then the Photoshop will ask him, do you want to open this image with, I don't know, this profile? And maybe, I mean, it happens all the time, is a different profile that the one you had. And so, long story short, you save the image, somebody else open it, and he gets something different. So please remember, this is important. You need to save the ICC profile within the image. It doesn't matter which one. I mean, probably if you're working with Windows, is sRGB. If you're working with a Mac, is Adobe RGB. But anyway, you need to save it. And more important than that, you need to pick a file type, okay? A file type that allow you to save the ICC profile. Because some types, like Targa, for example, you cannot store the ICC profile in them. And so, it happens to me like years ago that I had to print some images, and the printer always made a terrible job. But at the end, I discovered it was my fault because I didn't save the ICC profile within the image because I was sending him Targa files. So please remember about this. Now, when you save, you save the PSB, and of course, you can keep working, and everything is all right. Now, a couple of things. When you save, when let's say that your job is done, the image is done, what to do? Well, there's many options to save. I mean, you can go here and press, save as, and then, choose like, I don't know, JPEG, and see IC profile always on, and then you save the JPEG, and then when you save the JPEG, it's gonna ask you for, a quality. Well, now this is kind of, I don't like this because I can just see a slider, and I don't even, I mean, I don't really get an idea of what I'm doing, right? So instead of this, normally, especially when I have to save stuff for internet, I don't know, I need to post an image on the forum or on Facebook or wherever. I go here, file, and then I click on export, and then, and sorry, don't click, I just pick export, and then I click on here, save for web. Even if this is basically a legacy thing, so it's kind of old, but actually at least I can see the results. So I can just go here, and it's taking a lot, okay, because the image is big. I can go on JPEG and I can check how the JPEG looks like if I go, I don't know, down with the quality. And you can see, of course, now there's a lot of, artifacts, and it's terrible. It looks terrible because the quality is too low. But you can choose the amount of quality you want. Then you can have more options, like, I don't know, optimized for the web, progressive is basically when you have an image online, and it get better and better as the time pass by. Of course you need to embed the color profile, but there's a cool thing here. There is here a small button on the top right, and you can click on optimize the file size, and this small pop-up will appear, and you can say, okay, I want this image to be, I don't know, 200 kilobytes. And then if you pick current settings, it will keep JPEG as a format type, which is exactly what I want, because GIF, is terrible for images. Then I press OK, and then automatically Photoshop will calculate, a bunch of settings here to give me a file which is under 200 kilobytes, which is very, very cool, because sometimes you have limits, and then you need to stay within those limits. Anyway, this is pretty cool. If you want, then you can just copy the quality. I mean, 59 is almost like 6 on the slider. But I really love this interface, because I can see how the image would look, like the original one. You see, if you click on two up, you can see the original one and the one I'm saving. So you can basically find the differences, and of course you want less amount of differences possible. But anyway, normally what I do is I save a JPEG, because JPEG is something that you can send by email, and JPEG is fine if you want to go online, on internet, on forums, and it's fine if you want to work with, if you are working in sRGB. But when you want to send something to, I don't know, you need to print your image, because I don't know, it's an interior shot, and you are trying to sell some furnitures, and the manufacturer need that image on the new catalog, so you need to print it, right? You don't probably, he's gonna ask you for a CMYK format. So what to do in that case? I mean, what you need to do is to go, I mean, normally I do this on another file, not in the same file, so this one will stay RGB forever. But then I take the final image and I bring it into another file. Like, I don't know, I press Control Alt Shift E to make a new screenshot of the image. I right click, duplicate layer, and I bring it into a new file. You see document destination new, and now we are into a new file, and here we can go like this, color settings, and we can check here. We have RGB, which is sRGB because we work in Windows, and CMYK is the color profile that is used when you print an image on paper. If you are working with, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So what to do now? As you can see, there is a bunch of profiles you can pick. And unfortunately, you cannot just, go for a random one. So what to do? Well, you need to call the guy that is going to print the image. And he is able to say which one of the profile they are using to print. That's all. That's so simple. Okay, this is not something that belongs to you. That's not something about you. That's something about them or the guy. I mean, whoever prints the image for real. So they said, okay, we use coated Fogra 39, and that's it. You pick the profile they told you to pick, and now the thing is this: you are lucky. If you are lucky, then the preview will show you the image without differences. But if you are unlucky, then something will change, and the reason is in the sRGB space there are many more colors than in the CMYK space, and so if you are using some of those colors that they are here but they are not here, well, you will get some differences. You can tell, I can show you an example here. I can go and pick for example Aeroscale uncoated V2. Let me see if there's some differences. No, because we need to go here, view, proof setup. We need to go here, proof setup, and click on work in CMYK. So we need to go back here, color settings. And now we try to change this into something else. You see, it changed by a little. So the Aeroscale uncoated V2 has less blue colors than the Fogra 39. You see? And that would be a problem. That would be a problem if someone says, okay, let's print with this profile. That could be a problem. So let's say that, this time you're lucky. They told you, okay, Fogra 27. Okay, Fogra 27 looks nice. We can control again. We can check again if something changed. Yeah, something changed here a little bit, but is acceptable. So, okay, this is acceptable. And we press OK. Remember, if you want to see the preview of the setup, you need to go here and select the work in CMYK and then click on Proof Colors. Let's say that you like how the image has become. The differences are minimal. Then you can go here on Edit, and then you need to convert the profile, because right now, we are still in RGB. Okay, RGB is written here as the first one. CMYK is the second one, is because of the preview. So we go here, edit, convert to profile, and then we pick the profile we need, and then we press OK. And now the image is in CMYK, and you can save it and send it to the printer guy. Now, what's the format? I'm suggesting you to save the image in TIFF format. TIFF with ICC profile, of course, yes, without layers. And that's it. So it's going to, everything is going to be merged in just one single layer, and that's it. Now, just another example here. You can see this image is pretty, there's a lot of blue. Blue is the kind of color that probably will give you more issues, I would say. So if you go here, if we go back here, you go to color settings, and we change from Fogra 27 to, for example, Aeroscale. You see, we lose all the saturation of the blue color up there. And by the way, that's not up to you. So you need to be aware of what's the color profile that the printers are going to use in CMYK. So what to do? Normally, what I do is this. I set up this immediately as a first or second thing I do when I know that this image is going to be printed. I call them immediately. They have to tell me what profile they used. I set it up here, and then I press OK. View, proof setup, CMYK, proof color on, and I do my post-production with this option on. So at the end, what I see is at least something I can print. Okay? No surprises, no mistakes. You need to work with the proof colors on by the beginning, by default. And that's it. Now, about file size. This is another thing. This is another topic. Sometimes we already know what's the file size. I'm talking about pixels. I don't know. We need to make a video, and the video is full HD, and the image is 1920 pixel by 1080, and that's it. So we don't have any problem. What's the DPI? By the way, DPI is the resolution. So is how many dots, in this case, how many pixels we have on an inch, in an inch. And an inch is basically a distance, is a measure. And on the screen, if you have a lens, if you take a photo and you measure, you will find exactly 72 pixels inside an inch. But when you have to print images on paper or on billboards, then this is completely different. Let me explain. Let's take, for example, a magazine, okay, or a catalog. The quality of the prints on those pages have to be awesome, okay, have to be perfect. And that means in an inch, you need more than 72 pixels, than 72 points. Because, when we print, we are not talking about pixels, we are talking about points. Because the printer just, drop some, ink on the paper, and each drop is basically a point. Now, for a high quality magazine, you normally have 300 DPI, which means that in one inch you have 300 points, and that means if you get really close to the page of the magazine, I mean, you can really still look at a good quality picture, because there's a lot of information in the same amount of space. But think about when you go and you're on the street and you can see like a billboard of a new building they are going to make, and billboard is not an A4 or an A3. Is the billboard is, I don't know, it could be 4 meters by 3, and how far you are from the billboard when you look at it. I mean, you're pretty far. So if you get close to the billboard, you can try yourself, find one in your city, you will see that you don't have 300 DPI on the billboard, because there's too much. It's an overkill, I would say. You probably have 60 DPI, because from far away, 60 points every inch, it's enough to give you a good looking, a billboard. But there's another reason, and the other reason is nobody will be able to print a 300 DPI file, 300 DPI image, big, 4 meter by 3, because that would mean that you had so many pixels that the probably file would be like, I don't know, 200,000 pixels wide, and like, I don't know, 30 gigabyte of, on the hard drive, and that's not possible to process. And it's not just not possible to process, it's also useless, because again, you will never go that close to the billboard, to see, to let's say, view 300 pixels, 300 points on an inch. So what to do? You have to make a billboard or a magazine, doesn't matter. You call the guy you call again the guy that is going to print the billboard or the magazine, and they will tell you the format and also the resolution at which they can print. Okay, this is not up to you, this is about them. And so probably the client tells you, okay, I want, an A4. So it's going to be like centimeters. It's like, I don't know, this is an A3. A3. Let's keep in an A3. A3, or you can go here to print and you can change. You see, here we go. A3. I want it landscape. Millimeters or centimeters, doesn't matter, it's the same. And then the resolution, the DPI, how many pixels, how many points you have in an inch. And if it's a catalog, probably they will tell you 300, and then you press create, and you have exactly the size in pixels of the image you have to render. So you can go here, up here, you see 4,961 pixels by 3,508. Okay, you can also read it from here, image size. Okay, so this is pretty cool because you don't have to make up any number. You can just read those numbers, put them in 3ds Max and render that size. Meanwhile, if you need to make a billboard, probably these dimensions are not, as much as, they're not enough. So let's say we have a 300 centimeters billboard by 200, so 3 meter by 2. Resolution. Now, if you call the printer guy and you ask him, I have a billboard, I have to, make a 3 meters by 2 billboard. What's the resolution you need for the image? They will tell you probably 60. This is how much they are going to tell you, probably 60 or 100, but not more, because if you have more, it's going to be too much for them to handle. And you create, and again you go here, image size, and you see that this is the dimensions in pixels of your billboard. So 4 meters by 3 meter by 2, I don't remember, is at 60 dpi, 60 pixel per inch, is 7,000, almost 7,000 pixel document, and that's it. This is your size. This is what you need to put in 3ds Max. Now, about file size, again, depends. I mean, the file size, the output file size. So when you save an image, right? When you save an image, when you save a JPEG or a TIFF or wherever, that depends on the algorithm which you use to compress the image. So JPEG, sometimes JPEG is not that cool looking, because this algorithm just try to save informations, and when you save informations, it always happens that something get lost, and you can tell if you go down with the quality, of course. See, instead of having nice gradients, you start to have like less colors and bad gradients. But that's okay, because this image is 11 megabyte, and this was just 131 kilobytes. So of course you will lose something, but it depends on the file type you go with, and the quality, of course. For example, JPEG is, extreme about, compression. PNG is a lot better, but also PNG has, as you see, is like 2 megabytes. So of course you have better output, but you have also, a higher weight in terms of megabytes. Another thing that really matters is about channels. And that's because if you look at the image itself like this, I mean, you are not thinking about it, but this image is the result of 3 different channels. You have the red channel, you have the green channel, and you have the blue channel. And the fact that we have 3 different channels result, they are not the same. It means that it's like saving 3 different black and white images. Okay, so if you have a black and white image, is going to weigh 1/3 of an RGB image. But sometimes you have to do it. Sometimes you can't. So that's why probably a glossiness map, which is black and white, will be 1/3 in terms of megabyte of a diffuse or a base color, which is in color. Okay, so that's it. Remember to always set up the proof colors at the beginning of your work. If you are planning to publish the image only online, well, you don't care about this because you don't want to convert the image in CMYK.